Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TERA in 10, your weekly bite-sized source for all things TERA. We cover everything and anything from patch notes and screenshots to en masse news and community projects. So sit back, take 10 and keep up to date on the latest TERA developments. Hello again and welcome to episode 1 of TERA in 10. This episode will mainly function as a pilot to test what the community feels would make the best 10-minute weekly TERA video podcast. If you have any suggestions, comments or general feedback, please leave a comment in the description or post in the relevant thread on the official forums. Please note this is my first time working on a project such as this, and I am open to any criticism. I am not particularly tech savvy with regard to video creation and rendering, but I hope to learn enough during the creation of TERA in 10 videos in order to pull me through and produce some decent content. So then, the first order of business is to obviously discuss the recent open beta test which took place this week from April the 19th to the 23rd. Those that pre-order TERA were given an exclusive 24 hours of gameplay before the servers were officially opened for 3.5 days of public beta testing. The servers did suffer some connection issues as soon as they opened, which were obviously caused by the massive wave of pre-order players logging in, and this did actually continue for a number of hours after the servers officially launched. I personally had some trouble getting into the servers initially, but was lucky enough to get a spot in the queue about 15 minutes after the servers were turned online. This was actually my first time playing TERA, and the initial thing I did was obviously play through the prologue. I considered it to be rather tedious, but I put that down to the massive number of players that were going through it. I mean, the server was chock-a-block, there was so many sprites and quite a bit of lag and frame rate issues, that type of thing. That said, I did notice some really decent attempts to control that on the side of TERA. For instance, they had the dynamic channeling system. So I remember one instance I was in the game and I was on like channel 63 or something, and even that channel was dubbed as being medium capacity. Plenty of people hit the level cap of 32 within the first 2 days and set about grinding Sinistral Manor for the remainder of their time online. I played on Basilisk Crag and found the community to be very helpful and comical at times. There was always a joke going on in the chat, or a funny guild name, or a pack of aliens running around, or whatever. The game was fun, it was enjoyable, and the community was better than what I expected it to be. Apart from the obligatory WoW clone threads on the official forums, it didn't seem to be subjected to that much criticism, at least none which was valid. I mean, of course the game has teething issues that it needs to address. For instance, there was a lot of posts about the annoying noise and server-wide message whenever someone made a piece of equipment and upgraded it to +6. There are also a few other things, like the game would sometimes freeze on some people if they opened up a certain part of the interface, and they wouldn't respond for upwards of 5 seconds. So there are issues with the game. It's not perfect, but that's what open beta is about, and those are the things that we hope en masse will address. Moving on, a forum user by the name of Arvin has taken some user submitted data from the forums and put together some percentages for everyone to take a look at. Of those that took the survey, 87% identified as being male, while 58% of the characters in the survey were female. The survey also took a look at class choices, so if you want to know what's underplayed and overplayed, that information is available as well. The survey itself takes literally a few minutes to complete, so if you're interested in helping out, go over to the official forums and you can entertain us number nerds. Following on from that almost perfectly, for those of you that do have a fetish for numbers or are just interested in the economy, I personally ran some statistics from the Basilisk Crag Brokerage that gives a really decent look at how purchases were distributed throughout the server during the 4-day open beta and head start event. If you're interested in looking at it, again, I've linked the post in the bottom of the description, so you can head over to the blog and check out all the information that I provided there. The next thing I want to talk about is the head start coming up on April the 28th, which is just before the official launch due for May the 1st. The 28th, which is the next opening of the servers will give pre-order customers the chance to level up to 38, and will also give you the all-important ability to create up to 8 characters per server. So if you want to get your alts in and there, or if you just want to reserve some names for future characters, you can do that straight up. The event will begin at 12 PM, which is midday Pacific Standard Time, and the official launch will be 3.5 days later on the Tuesday morning. So it's essentially the exact same as the open beta test that we just went through, except for it's a week later. When the game is released, as I said, on May the 1st, it will be a full release, so you'll have the level cap of 60 and access to a total of 21 instances. If you'd like to see a list of all those instances as well as the levels required and their names, you can do so by following the link just below this video. Moving on, I'd like to give a plug for TERACodex.com. It's an unofficial site made by a player, and it contains literally a heap of information about all the items, the classes, the quests available, and a whole lot more. For example, in this video you can see that it contains stats of literally every weapon in the game, including this very sexy bow. And it has some other cool stuff, such as where you start and finish quests, where NPCs are located, and just general TERA maps. This little segment really doesn't do it justice, and I really do urge you to head over to the site and take a look around for yourself, because there's some very good information there and it can help you develop as a player really well. In terms of community, there is a forum there. It's small, but the user base is active, and although there isn't currently a system in place for people to contribute, hopefully that will change in the near future. I mean, TERA Codex could become sort of like a wiki and a quick reference site for TERA, so long as enough people get involved and help out. So definitely keep your eye on that, and I urge you to go and visit it right this second. And lastly, but by no means leastly, which is now a word, I'll quickly cover the en masse trailer that was released earlier today. It's a teaser. It's for the Saleron Skygarden, which is the level 53 dungeon. It's about 2 minutes long, and it shows some very scary dragons, as well as some interesting character physics towards the end of the scene. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to show this dungeon as opposed to the one that's going to be available in the head start. Either way, it's going to fulfill your sort of withdrawal needs of having your dose of terror. So again, if you want to check that out, the link's in the bottom of the description. So that's it from this week's episode of TERA in 10. Again guys, if you could leave me some feedback via any medium, send me a PM on YouTube, post on Reddit, whatever you need to do in order to sort of get your feedback to me, please do so. I'd really like to improve this segment. I think that TERA does need a sort of weekly source for news and tips or whatever. So if you guys want to give me any ideas or suggestions on how to make this evolve and grow, I'm all ears. Of course, be sure to leave anything that you might want me to cover in the next episode. If you have a fan site that you think deserves coverage, or if you found some cool stuff, have some screenshots, whatever you think is relevant and pertinent to this TERA in 10, be sure to submit it, and I'll be more than happy to promote whatever it is you're doing and sort of give you some coverage. Sadly, this video is just going to run short of 10 minutes, so I'm going to leave you with some lift music and an image of a Popori.